Hey guys, on here we are back for episode 3 of Halo the series. In the last episode, John got a little bit of intel as to what this item is that he's carrying, what the Covenant want with it, as well as his role to play in it, just a little bit being made more clear to him. We also learned a little bit more about the human that is teamed up with the Covenant. Just some little fragments, not a lot. Then there's some connection between the two, her and Chief, with these constructs, these Forerunner constructs. They are doing some things that are very different from the source material itself. And I'm still adjusting, so work with me here. Apologize if in the previous episodes I've been a little critical. It's just like I'm still having a little bit of trouble separating some specifics from the canon that I'm used to and what they're trying to do here. So I'm loosening up a little bit. You know, we're working into it. You know, it takes a few episodes for me to sometimes get my brain in the right gear sometimes. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into things here. Oh yeah, no, before we do, we also have Cortana getting set up and put into play. At least Halsey was kind of manipulating the situation a little bit to kind of get her project greenlit to move forward, even though she's already seemingly done this on her own without authorization, which is a very Halsey move to make. I still don't know how much we can trust her, because I feel like she's manipulating everybody, which is also pretty Halsey-like to do. So I don't know to what extent we should believe anything she's said up to this point about one, Cortana's purpose, or any of the things that she said to John when he came back. Now that he is back with the UNSC, turning himself over, leaving Quan on that planet with Soren, or not planet, that like interconnected like civilization put together on this like asteroid belt, which is a really interesting visual. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with it, see where we go from here, and let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. So if you're part of the 75% of people that watch the channel, you're not yet subscribed, or maybe you're turning in for the very first time, I really hope if you enjoyed this reaction, maybe by the end of it, you'll hit that subscribe button or leave us a like. I'd really appreciate it either way. If you want to see the full-length, unedited reaction to this episode, you can check those out over on Patreon, or if you become a member on the channel, it gets you access as well. It's one of the ways you can help support us over here, help us work towards expanding the types of reactions that we do, as well as improving the quality of the videos that come your way. But of course, I know how we can do that. And a simple way you can help us out is just by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing these videos, and help us out with that dreaded YouTube algorithm. That said, and down the way, guys, let's go ahead and jump into episode 3, Emergence. Here we go.
Look here. Do you know what that word says? Kiss. So, when you read a word like that, someone's supposed to kiss you.
This kid is,
Hey! Get over here! Come back here!
a little manipulator. I'd say half of what he said is true. The rest of it, I think he was just really trying to impress her. Oh my god. Jesus.
Forget it! Let's go!
Oh my. Oh, wait. Is this? This is her origin. This is the woman's origin. That's the book that the prophet was complaining about her reading. Well, maybe not complaining, but like was interested in what she was reading about. Good God. Alright, hope you get fucked up, man. We need something a little more brutal than that. Come on, fuck him up some more. Beat him up some more. He deserves more. Ah. Okay.
Jana ok ogakak amit imidaga. Nije rashank oga. Jana.
You will try.
This is amazing. The results confirm it's over 100,000 years old.
That's pre-human. Possibly even pre-covenant.
Well, depends on what they do with that, but we'll see.
I want you to lead a team in analyzing this artifact. Determine what it is, what it does, and if in fact it's part of some kind of weapon. I'm interested in finding a way to be less reliant on Dr. Halsey moving forward. Can you help me with that?
We'll see how this pans out.
I have some questions. What became of the children?
Well, 35 survived the original augmentation.
So more than half died. That's a far greater percentage than I imagined.
The rest became Spartans. I've perfected the process for real-time neuroelectrical imaging.
The Cortana system's viable. So you'll integrate her into a working Spartan?
That's next.
I don't need a babysitter.
It's not a babysitter. This is an upgrade.
Let's get started.
That was eerie.
We'll need you awake. But this will keep your body still.
Will it hurt?
Oh, yes.
Oh my god.
You have the most beautiful brain. Soon, you will be part of something bigger and better.
This is terrifying. Dude, Aaron's gonna love this over on Blind Wave. Is it like scanning her brain? Yup, it's turning it to soup. All right.
Hello, Dr. Halsey.
It's so weird seeing Cortana,
my
like,
Master
I mean,
Chief.
she's still like kind of like CGI
military record is
overlaid, but like
outstanding.
hearing the voice from the games, I love it though.
My neural implant is operating perfectly, but I'm unable to take full operational control of the subject.
Yeah, for the moment, I have limited your access to the reticular formation.
My directive is to integrate fully with the Master Chief to optimize both his physical and his mental performance.
And in time, you will do that.
So she could and can, but Halsey, ooh, okay.
Before I hand him over, I need to understand how it affects him and how it might adversely affect you.
Okay. So that is still the goal, to let Cortana run him 100%. But she put like an inhibitor in play for now.
After the attack on Madrigal caused a disruption in output. Sources close to Governor Fincher report that production will be back up sooner than expected.
I want to go back to Madrigal.
What? No.
Finch is taking over. I'm not asking you to fight. I just need a ride and protection until I find my people.
I am not interested in playing bodyguard for the Princess of Madrigal.
Would you like to meet her?
Not particularly, no.
Come on.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
I don't like this.
Trust me, you will. She's going to enhance your abilities in the field 100-fold.
Commander, a sleep space anomaly just appeared on our starboard quarter.
Oh, great.
Corvette. Open the artillery bay. Bring us around 90 degrees.
This is their Trojan horse to deliver what's-her-face into human hands.
I don't know how much longer I can survive here. Hello? Can you hear me?
Prepare a drone pod.
Yes, sir.
Man, we're sending you a pod. Board it when it reaches you.
Do not bring any weapons.
I would assume this is a Covenant trap.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, the interior looks neat. Oh, yeah. Okay, that theory, at least from the trailer, confirmed. That was it right there. Hunter. Oh. Oh. I can't wait to see it.
I'm ready.
Cortana?
I'm also ready, Dr. Halsey.
That looks like the cavern where they found the artifact.
Go ahead, Cortana.
Putting him into stasis to access the artifact. I'm now getting no readings from the artifact at all.
It needs John. It knows.
Cortana,
That's
release
interesting.
him.
Womp.
I was not designed to be an assistant.
You designed to follow my orders.
I don't know, man. Cortana's a very gung-ho on taking this dude over. I mean, I don't remember that being something they explored in our early Inception, but we'll see where it goes with how they play it. Dude, are they gonna get wrecked or...
Thank you.
Yeah, here they come. Man, I hope we get a glimpse of them armored. This is the first time visually we've seen a hunter outside its armor.
Where is your home base?
I will tell you nothing.
What was that? Whoa! 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 What?
I've been cleared to return to duty. If anyone has anything they'd like to ask or tell me, please.
We've been briefed, Chief.
As you were.
Hello. Can I have your attention for a moment, please?
What are you doing?
To those of you who haven't heard of me, I'm Cortana.
AI off.
I'm introducing myself to the rest of the team.
Go disappear. New AI. Halsey's. It's temporary.
Nope. That's interesting. So she doesn't have to be in the chip in the helmet like before. She's in his head. She was installed into his skull.
Master Chief, what are you doing?
He's gonna take the pellet out.
Chief is trying to remove his emotional regulator.
I want you to help him. It's better that he sees you as an accomplice rather than a spy.
You should feel something solid at the tip of the blade. Twist 45 degrees and use the knife edge to...
Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. She gonna rat on him? Or was she like, Chief Booty? Oh, we're gonna get a comparison of him going out while people were having fun and all that stuff and being robotic and stoic, and him maybe being able to experience it a little bit. Man, the ships and the equipment and all that, it just always blows me away with how good it looks. I don't know, there's something like really, I don't know, tender and serene and also uplifting about this whole sequence. Him experiencing just humanity and observing it unimpeded. Maybe for the first time since he was a child.
Can you open this?
Why do you need to?
Can you open this?
Open it, Cortana.
Chief, do not touch the artifact. Each time you do, it stresses your heart and nervous system.
He's like, I need some answers.
Another one?
See how they go together.
What the fuck?
Oh, the one that I found on Madrigal and another one that goes with it somehow, and I saw it as a child. On Eridanus too. I'm going. Send a probe, stare at all the data you want. I need to see it for myself.
I'll come with you.
Man, she's such a manipulator. Love it. But her curiosity, man, it knows no bounds.
I'm going to free Madrigal and you can't stop me.
You think what's left of your old man's army's got what it takes to take on Venture?
Not your problem.
Madurigaw ni rink awarut o. Muri ok ogacha mechitan. Khadyo ni rino maro jaka. Khaji jangago mo rino maro jaka.
It's what Cortana was able to generate based on John's description. Do you think we'll find the other piece on Eridanus? Or is John just imagining it?
But if we want to separate what's real from what's imagined...
Well, Quan, Soren, and her right there are on a crash course for Madrigal.
The truth could bring us all down.
That is what Cortana is for.
The levels of manipulation. I really liked that episode. I think outside of the opening 20 minutes of the first episode, I think this is, I mean, there's only had 3 episodes, but I think this is my overall favorite episode so far. Just the pacing of it was really parsed out in a nice way. Now that we kind of like got all these pieces set up and the board set, I don't know. I felt like the writing was a little more smooth. It's still doing its own thing. So we were half right in mistrusting anything Halsey was saying, but at the same time, she was also telling the truth. It's just to the extent of which way she's wanting to go in any given situation. Like, Cortana was meant to just turn Chief into a meat suit. That was the intent. That is the plan. But for right now, they were running some tests, and they wanted to make sure before they removed John from the equation that they'd still be able to access this thing. And they learned right now they need John himself conscious and aware, which is interesting because Cortana in his body just kind of taking over John shut this thing down. It knew it wasn't John. It's just interesting. But that's kind of like the high level of the technology of the Forerunners just in general, that they'd be able to parse that out. Especially the detection of an AI in their system would definitely trip a safety measure like that. But this is interesting, because this is a whole new, I mean, based on what I remember from Reach on John's backstory, this is all new. This whole setup with his parents, this like terraforming project, this pre-contact with an artifact and all that. So this is all kind of new lore. And I'm curious to see how that's set up. So was that the cover story for why they were on that planet, and maybe they were actually investigating this thing, or did they stumble upon it? Is that what he was burying, or was that his dog? Because it seemed like his dad was chastising it about maybe accidentally getting the dog killed, or maybe his dad didn't like the dog to begin with. I don't know. It seemed like he was burying the pet, but was drawing this artifact that he was seeing. Was he just having visions of it, or did he actually encounter it? That there's a missing piece out there, and they just found the key that goes into the monolith that he had seen when he was a kid. And yeah, I mean, the mystery of what happened to them, at least in the main line was never really hidden from them. They knew about it. They knew what happened to their past. They knew their past, but there was a greater good that they just kind of accepted and rolled with their lot in life. I don't recall, other than flash clones of them left in their place so that their parents thought they got a debilitating disease and died suddenly so they wouldn't look for any of their children. I think that was as far as the cover-up went. So it seems like something else happened here, and maybe they had a different screening process in this version of the universe, and maybe they just axed off his parents so that they could get him into their program. You know, that instead of, they created these situations surrounding everything so that they could scalp up their prospects. This time around, though, not knowing that one of them would be would have key knowledge of something that they need in the future in this war with the Covenant. Interesting. Have we even got her name? Blessed One's backstory at the beginning, you know, where she got the book, where that little, like, smooth sailor was trying to, like, butter up some words and get some smoochies from a girl I guess he had a crush on. Well, obviously I had a crush on, but definitely, like, twisting the words of the book he was reading to her to kind of get some action. I gotta say, the kid was a player. And then they just lived on this shitty planet. I mean, they didn't even, I mean, as kids, the way they were raised, it seems like in the conditions they had, they didn't even know there was a world out there. So the Covenant, in a way, finding her there opened up her to the greater universe. It definitely shows why she would have a kinship with them. Still interesting that they would, you know, even accept the help of a human, regardless of their involvement and need. But I still think it's kind of intriguing. And just the fact that they just beat that kid to death, too, just fuck them. I don't think the guy that the elites attacked got nearly as much as he deserved. And I'm wondering if they glassed that whole installation or blew it up or just took the kid and left. I'd love to see how they indoctrinated her. Maybe if we see some of that, some more of her backstory as we're going into things, and see how they kind of incorporated her into their belief structure, what she knows, what she can do, the extent of that. I'd be really curious to see that. We also saw hunters. We saw a glimpse of them in their armor, and then like a lot of people were kind of theorizing before, like, what was that in there? So I saw a lot of people saying it was the hive, but I was like, nah, they were too worm-like. I was like, maybe she's got a hive of hunters just running around just outside their armor, and that was the case. It's a stealthy way to use a hunter that, honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't been utilized in any of the games. So it'd be it's a little bit of a horror-ish mechanic, but it would be really interesting and tension-building to set that into play. So yeah, I like that. I do hope we get to see them fully armored up, because those things are massive and one of my favorite designs in the Covenant. And plus, they're just a force to reckon with. Well, she's on her way to Madrigal now that she tracked down that ship, and I mean, they kept that the information deletion protocols in line, so that was a nice touch. There's a lot of little sprinkles of stuff from the games and the books and stuff throughout. You know, we've had that in the previous episodes, but there's just like little things in this one that I really liked, especially the door she came out of. That was like a door from the games. I liked it, man. I'm just trying to like not be so beholden. And like I mentioned before, when I go into something, it takes a little while for me to loosen up to kind of shut down that screaming in the back of my head that's like, that's not how I know it. I'm just rolling with it, though. I am questioning, I don't know who's who on his team with the helmets off. I don't recall. The blonde one that was kind of like, you know, it was like, we got your back no matter what, or whatever. And then when he removed the pellet, you know, she was kind of keeping an eye on him, spying on him. We know that these split teams and all that going on right now is the Spartans have a loyalty that goes above and beyond their loyalty to the UNSC most of the time, especially John's teams, Silver and Blue. I would assume if they carry that over into this, that they'll keep his secret. But I don't know. There's something like ominous a little bit about her spying on him before that. But who knows? It could be maybe she was like just catching a look. I mean, she still got her inhibitor by what we can assume. So I don't know if she would be like barking up that tree. Because there was that moment where John lingered uncomfortably on that couple in the train. And I don't know if that was meant to be like a subtle hint towards maybe something coming up like that in the future. Maybe him experiencing feelings for somebody. I can't imagine that being one of the Spartans, but you never know. I mean, they grew up together. They know everything about each other. Well, the non-classified everything's about each other. Like their origins, where they all came from. Or she's just like, John's acting weird. I'm just going to keep an eye on him. Which just makes like, it's just like that would be show that there's distrust a little bit in the ranks, which we'll see how that goes. But they were willing to fight the UNSC regardless of what happened with John whenever he was brought back in. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Cortana, man, she unnerves me. I do like how she's displayed more so than after getting to see it a little bit more than just what we saw in the trailer, because it was kind of like, how's this going to be implemented? And they do have, I mean, obviously she's modeled after they do like this weird thing. She's a combination of the voice actress and Halsey, because she's not 100% Halsey. You can see like they added like a CGI element to the character rather than just taking the actress and just covering her in blue and adding like a filter. So they added that to make, I guess, it feel more artificial. And I think that helps. As well as seeing like the data particulates and stuff running around. But it's like there's this like this calculated, like, I don't know how to describe it or the right word to use. This calculated, cold, malicious intent that she's kind of got. She's kind of got like that AI thing was like, this is my directive. She keeps bringing it up. This is not what I was meant to do. And I'm wondering if this time around, maybe Chief ends up bringing out the humanity in Cortana because she's able to learn. And maybe she learns to care. Where it was kind of the other way around in the games, where it was more Cortana and her learning and observing, and this friendship she develops with John and her interactions with everybody else helps bring out his humanity from out of this. And this, they've shaken it up a little bit and had this Monolith bring out his humanity, him explore his humanity, and then kind of flipped that engagement, that relationship with Cortana, and maybe we'll see that go the other way around. Because right now it's, I don't know. When they were introduced to one another, it was never like, here I go. I'm not like drawing the comparison. I'm just trying to like fill you guys in. This is like where I'm coming from on it. But like in the book, Full of Reach, when they're introduced to one another, you know, it's as a partnership. Like, she doesn't have full access to his brain. She can't just take him over. And, you know, they kick it off. They work together. They build this friendship. And they still might go down that road. It's just like a reversal. Like, there was not this adversarial aspect of the relationship. I'm curious to see where that goes, especially considering Halsey is using Cortana as a way to spy on John as well, to keep an eye on him and, you know, if need be, 100% take over the host. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe he'll be able to fight her off. Maybe there's something about his brain that's allows him to do a little bit more. They also, seems like the way the actual visualization, I don't know, something about seeing it was a lot more visceral than reading it on the creation of Cortana, like the links that it goes to create one of these smart AI. Also, if I remember right, in the books, Cortana was the hybridization of, one, the Flash cloning, to the advancement of AI that was implemented at the time, as well as some Forerunner leftovers were implemented into the first Cortana AI. Could be wrong. I might be misremembering that, but I'm pretty sure there was some Forerunner research that went into creating Cortana. But, I mean, it seems like this is their very first encountering of anything Forerunner, is this thing, this keystone, as they're calling it, in this timeline. So they're changing things up there, too. So, just piecing things together. I like the pacing of this episode a lot. I like I liked all the performances in this one. Again, the visuals and the production value, I think, that just hold steady throughout each of these episodes so far. I don't know. This one was, I mean, it didn't have any action in it aside from that little bit with the elites showing up and taking away the girl, but I liked it. I like the pacing of this one. I like the story that we've had parsed out. I'm still curious to see how Quan and Soren stay wrapped up into everything, but it seems like I mentioned they're heading to Madrigal to deal with this UNSC figurehead that is taken over the political sphere on Madrigal, and who's joined forces with the UNSC, where the whole thing with her and her family and the insurrectionists was to become independent from the UNSC. So after I've always found, like, and this is in the books too, is like after the emergence of the Covenant in the human colonies, it just always kind of befuddled me a little bit that, you know, it's like there's a bigger picture here. Like, we shouldn't be fighting this fight amongst humans when right now we're fighting for our survival as a species. I think that takes a little bit more priority over what's going on. And I think it's a little funny that, you know, it's not like the UNSC wiped out her family or anything like that. They were fighting for their independence still, and that's all she cares about right now, even though the Covenant swooped in and murdered everybody. Like, you think she'd be a little bit more honed in on getting revenge on and helping them with the Covenant. But no, she's like, nah, that guy is muddying all that my family had worked for, which honestly did not seem like it actually amounted to much. I know it's a philosophical thing, it's a freedom thing, and I get that, but it just seems like we have bigger concerns right now than a little political squabble on this planet. I mean, I don't know how much, to what extent the UNSC is, like, oppressing their people there. Don't know, but we'll see. I don't know. Even in the books, I never really felt like the insurrectionists had ever really been fleshed out that much. From what I've read, I've not read every Halo book. But it was always just like this thing that was in the background that was always happening while, you know, you were always more interested in, like, the Covenant stuff. The actual war and the politics there, which I thought were always a little more interesting. But yeah, it just seems like so inconsequential, especially when coming face to face to this alien threat, and after their whole thing is not believing in the propaganda of the UNSC, that they are fighting this war against these aliens, and that the Spartans are these mythical creatures that they've been made up to be. And she witnessed the truth of all of it, for one, and that she's still like, I need to go fight this dude who's taking over and squandering my father's legacy. I was like, we just kind of have some bigger concerns. I understand, like, the feeling there, the want, need, but I feel like that should come once some other things are kind of settled. And especially going back to a planet where they've already been. But I don't know. Her entire resistance was wiped out. She's the only survivor. It just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like a lost cause. Again, I get it. I get it from her point of view, her perspective, for the most part. But it just does seem like we have bigger fish to fry in this situation. But Soren being looped into with the prospect of maybe making a payday out of it one way or the other makes sense with what we know about him up to this point. I'm curious to see how that relationship goes. And does he have all of his armor with him still? Because, like, it only seems like he's ever walking around with just the torso piece. which gives him this big old kind of puffy ball look when he's walking around in that trench coat. Can't wait to see him in action. Can't wait to see the Spartans in action again, just in general. Did Silver Team go with him and Halsey to go explore his home planet? And Halsey's just such a wild card too. And then on top of that, of course, that I don't remember her rank, that general or whatever, who's been really just like not thrilled with Halsey at all. I don't remember her name either. But that she's creating these 2 teams to examine this artifact and trying to play Miranda against her mother, which is kind of interesting. See how that's going to play out as they're working on similar projects, but with different goals. And the UNSC has always tried to get away from relying on Halsey because she is one of those people that will go well past the limits of what is allowed or what is ethical for the greater good, her perceived greater good, which in the end worked out conveniently because the Spartans were, I think, originally made to help with the insurrections, and then it just happened to be they got their first contact with the Covenant, and it was like, oh shit, these are literally the only things that can help us fight them. So it became this quandary of a necessity to maintain and keep the Spartan project running. So we're kind of at that point already. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this episode. The world building was pretty solid. The other thing I wanted to touch on was Cortana's visualization. Like how she appears. Like, you know, she wasn't like 100% in chief all the time. You know, he had like the neural interlink put in his head, which combined with the suit, and the chip goes in the back of the helmet, and it's through the helmet that Cortana is able to communicate with him. Other than that, if her chip's not in there, she can be in a different installation, she can be elsewhere, and that's not how. But they seem like they removed all of that. They showed the visualization of it. We saw the game chip that they showed, but then they took it out and shoved it in his skull. So he's got a permanent connection to her at all times now. Really forcing those two together. I'm curious to see how that goes. I do also think that the effect, I think it would be interesting, and probably maybe it's a visualization thing, maybe it's something on the production side that they decided not to go with this, but I don't know. I'm kind of like, I like tiny Cortana. I don't know, something about full-size, human-size Cortana kind of makes me feel a little eerie. But I mean, still an interesting way to go about it, that she could just kind of manifest too. Don't know how that works, where she can just kind of appear anywhere. I think they explained it with some sciencey mumbo jumbo, but how does that come out of the back of his head and then she appears? Is it just on the ship? Is there like something in the air that allows her to just manifest, like these particulates that represent herself? I don't know. I got questions about the logistics of some of this stuff, but I really like the episode. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So we're going to go ahead and pass this off to you guys. What did you think of episode 3? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us in our Discord. We can talk about it there as well. Links down on the socials in the description box below. As always, I really appreciate it if you follow me on each and every one of those. If you want to see the full length reaction to these, you can check those out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, it gets you access as well. And speaking of, before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Philly Vane, Yori Korskov, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Nate Prouty, and Melita. Thank you guys, as always, for your continued support. That's another episode down, and I'll see you all next week with episode 4. Take care, everybody.